First of all, we're all in this together, a song I had zero awareness of. I figured you might. It is from something almost 20 years old, High School Musical.
No, missed it. Didn't see it.
What?
I did. I missed that one.
Well, the teamwork angle, and I teased it and didn't get to it till now. How do we like Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota, at Homeland Security?
Well, let's all buckle up here and recognize we're going to like some of these picks. We're going to not like some of these picks. We're going to like a lot of the picks. First of all, there's just too much reason to celebrate still. I mean, good things are. Look, Trump is handling this transition like a
boss.
Machine, like a boss. And I mean, I love Tom Tradup, our friend and colleague here at Salem, sent me a picture, said, good way to start my morning. There's a full screen graphic on CNN. There's a feeling of dread that spreads across the federal workforce as second Trump term looms. And as Tom put it, that's a beautiful way to start your Tuesday. My advice,
absolutely,
my advice, start packing. Yes. I saw a clip of Michael Knowles. I interviewed him at the RNC. He's a young guy that's on, I think, Daily Wire. And he was at some panel, and some young triggered snowflake stood up and said, Michael, what would your response be to the reports that Trump is thinking about closing the Department of Education? Yes. How do you tell the families that are concerned about the Department of Education going away? And Michael Knowles said, well, I've got a very scientific response to that. I'm glad you asked. My answer would be zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. My, oh, my, what a wonderful day. I mean, as he pointed out, the Department of Education since 1979 was tasked with one thing: make kids smarter, better, improve test scores. And it's failed. It has failed. It doesn't work. So give it to the school, give it to the states, give
now
it to the
it's just a
districts.
money trough. It is just a money trough with national, federal, Washington whims attached. Why should I spend a dime on education in Indiana? As a Florida resident, why should you spend a dime on education in California or Texas? It all goes into Washington and then just poops out in that sigmoid column of federal spending. It's ridiculous. It's a Rube Goldberg device. It's terrible. So
all right.
Anyway.
So that's the good stuff. Now we got to have a little tough love. What is with you and John Cornyn? What in the world are you doing? I know you've interviewed him.
Because I think it's going to be him, and everybody's going to think it's like having Chuck Schumer as Senate Majority Leader, and it's just not.
Well, it's not as bad as Chuck Schumer, but here's the thing. I mean, first of all,
it's better than Mitch. It'll be better than Mitch.
Well,
not as good as yes, of course it will.
I don't know
because Mitch didn't care. Mitch didn't care. First of all, Mitch didn't care about Trump. I think Cornyn does. Also, Cornyn, please understand, faces a possible primary challenge in 26 from Ken Paxton and knows that inflaming the MAGA base will have a price. So I'm still a Rick Scott guy.
That's not authentic. Stop it. Stop saying, oh, Trump will make him better because he has to be better to save his skin. That's the problem. That's the swamp. No, you're wrong on this. This is the swamp, and you're justified. Now look, but let me caution myself against getting too aggravated with you, because I'm the same way about Marco Rubio. I got a lot of people blasting Marco Rubio as a choice.
What kind of ancient memory is that? Tell me, give me the bad thing Rubio has done or said, in the last in the Trump era.
10 years. I'm going to ask my audience that, because I'd like to know. I was talking to Joey Hudson here in South Carolina about it, and Joey said, I think it's just like a feeling. I'm like, well, that doesn't get it. You can't just say because of a feeling.
I do understand it.
But well, yeah, you might have a suspicion, but you got to have some concrete examples. Here's some concrete examples of John Cornyn. He blasted Trump after E. Jean Carroll.
Yes.
Where does John Cornyn stand on birthright citizenship? Where does John Cornyn stand on photo IDs for federal elections? I'm afraid John Cornyn is
a total
really
ID guy.
Part of the problem. Is he?
I don't think ID is a problem. Is Rick Scott come out against birthright citizenship?
I know. I think
maybe. That's very bold and very proper, and I don't know a whole lot of senators who've done that at all. But here, I'll Google while you talk. Go ahead.
Well, here's what bothers me about the reaction. Reporting suggests that the senators who are getting bombarded with calls and texts and emails, they're livid. How dare the people tell us how they feel about a pick like the Senate Majority Leader. Here's the headline at Axios. Rick Scott's MAGA momentum backfires in the Senate. Senate GOP sources say that it's backfiring, that there are senators who are livid because they're dealing with a flood of trolling on social media from Scott allies. Oh, well, heaven forbid that they get pressure from the actual people they work for.
Precisely
to quote
right.
Tom Homan, they work for us.
Yep.
And we have a right to say, look, here's who we want. This is who, and everybody's lining up behind Rick Scott. Hannity and Elon, Don Jr., you go down the list.
Tucker, your boy Tucker.
Tucker Carlson. But
Exactly
that's
right.
left, but according to Axios, this pressure has left many senators livid and frustrated.
In a secret ballot, are they going to go, I'll show these guys, I'm going to vote
that's
for
what they're saying.
Cornyn or Thune.
One Republican told Axios, at this point, I won't vote for him for anything ever. Oh, well, that'll show the American people. This is the swamp, Mark. This is what Trump has got to drain. And the mindset, it comes from Mitch McConnell. It comes from this sense of this is an inevitability. We are who we are. I don't know. I mean, and if it's between Cornyn and Thune, I'll take Cornyn over Thune any day.
Correct.
I'm
Cornyn
real
is
worried
better
about
than Thune, better than McConnell, not as good as Rick Scott, who, by the way, there's a zero record of Rick Scott being real vocal about ending birthright citizenship. So please.
Well, I'm asking about Cornyn's position on birthright citizenship.
Don't make up stuff. I mean, find things that are serious differences between Cornyn and Scott, and there are some, which is what makes Scott a better choice. And if it were an open ballot, it would be Rick Scott by a breeze, because there would be accountability. Everybody knows what conservative America wants. They want Rick Scott.
But ask yourself this question: If Scott is the better choice, and I agree with you entirely, then what's the problem here? What's the problem?
A conservative beacon is not the sole factor for a whole lot of these senators, including some of them that we like. Oh,
that's the problem.
What's up with Josh Hawley? Does it get more conservative than Josh Hawley? Does it get more MAGA than Josh Hawley? Hawley is on record supporting Cornyn.
I don't know why. I don't know. It worries me and it concerns me. But like I said, let's just bake into the cake. We're not going to love everybody that goes to. So far, I mean, it's been maybe not a grand slam, but a two-run homer. I mean,
I'm prepared. I am prepared. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to love everybody at the outset. I mean, are there doubts about Rubio? Maybe, but I'm prepared to let him. I'm going to expect him to be a great Secretary of State.
Well,
if we wind up being Senate Majority Leader John Cornyn, I'm going to expect him to be a good soldier and call him out when he doesn't. Susie Wiles is going to be a great Chief of Staff. Stephen Miller as Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy.
Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor.
Elise Stefanik at the UN. Lee Zeldin at the EPA. It's magnificent. There's a sentence that occurs to me because you're talking about the people about there'll be things to like and things not to like. Here's a sentence: the worst Trump pick, whoever it winds up being, and I don't know who it'll be, will be miles better than the best pick Harris would have made.
Totally. And let's not. And what's the old phrase about letting the perfect be the enemy of the good, or the good being the enemy of the perfect, whatever the hell that phrase is, and I always get mixed up. I mean, we just got to take a big deep breath. I love what Michelle Tafoya wrote on social media after the announcement of Rubio. She pointed out the racist misogynist has chosen the first Latino Secretary of State ever to go along with the first female Chief of Staff ever. Does it ever occur to these people that they just could be wrong about this guy? Does it? I mean, Mark, here's the first Latino in the history of America to be the Secretary of State, first female to be the first Chief of Staff in the history of the White House.
That's right.
And they just blast this guy.